السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah.
Shall wait for a couple of minutes and we'll start, inshallah.
Sure.
Okay, let's start, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. نحب الصالحون ولست منا. Bismillah. Okay, Bismillah. Those who disbelieve wish that they would neglect your weapons and your baggage so they could come down upon you in one single attack. SubhanAllah. This is a verse related to something that happened with the Prophet ﷺ. But for it's not a tafsir class, but It's interesting that he says that we should not say reliance is not the abandonment of precaution. Meaning, and we learned this from the Prophet ﷺ, a lot of people have a misunderstanding of qadr. They think, especially in like certain countries, subhanAllah, they think that yani khalas, whatever, qadar Allah, whatever happens, happens. And we're good to go. No, a believer always has to protect himself and herself in every single situation. The Prophet ﷺ himself, as we see in this ayah, in Surah An-Nisa, that you have to be precautious, even though Allah is with you. Why? Why? If the Prophet ﷺ being taught, you got to be careful with how you move. Why? And he's protected by Allah. He can send angels down to protect him, but yet he's still. So we can, me and you can learn precaution, right? Now, we're talking the previous lessons, previous time, we talked about the Sufis and how, about food, about their clothing, about some of the contradictions in their statements and in their behavior when it comes to, and how the devil deceived them to think that they're on the right path. Now, let's go down. So you always have to take precautions no matter what. You don't abandon anything. The Prophet ﷺ didn't abandon. You do not abandon anything, even at the time of prayer, right? Even in war, there's a prayer of fear. Always are, in precaution. Now, so Shafi'i, rahimahullah, says, and that's what I was going to say, this verse is about jihad anyway. But he said that it's obligatory to carry arms at this time due to the words and let them carry their weapons. Okay. Hence, reliance does not contradict taking precautions, as in need when Musa was told the chiefs start taking counsel together about to kill you, he went away. Likewise, the Prophet ﷺ, he did this hijrah when it was too tough, khalas, it was too much. Then the Prophet ﷺ had to make hijrah, right? So this is real tawakkul, not tawakkul, that we have to always keep in mind in our lives. It's a great lesson for all of us. You don't have to be like overthinking and overanalyzing things, but you have to take enough precaution to be able to, take care of yourself and your family and so on. Now, the early Muslims took proper precaution and sought reliance. So too in this matter, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Yusuf, do not relate your vision to your brothers, right? Do not, because something might come up. Then Yaqub alayhi salam, he is advising his sons when they're returning back to the city of the Aziz, do not enter from one gate. All these, for a believer, are great lessons to take precaution always, as opposed to those that were deceived by shaitan to believe, as Imam Al-Jawzi addressed here, to believe that they are safe. Now, let's move up. Now, and remember that making a physical motion to ward off harm is a form of utilizing Allah's bounty, right? So, like for example, if you fight someone off, this is Allah's bounty on you, right? It's a bounty Allah is giving you to ward someone off, right? Everyone's got, and he gives the example of birds and beasts with equipment and weapons, right? And if animals were designed to defend themselves and to have different, abilities in there and different things in their bodies that they can fight with and adapt, and they can basically, like camouflage and all that. And then, of course, you learn a great lesson here. It's a ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I mean, it's part of the risk. It's part of the risk. So what about humans? Okay? Now, what about humans? Let's go up. and down. Right, so it's the same. It's about neglecting caution, right? Now, there's a balance between caution and being like cowardly, right, and miserly. Like a lot of people are cowardly and they are miserly and they are weak and they are very very just there has to be a balance. There has to be a balance, right, in what the person can do. There has to be a balance in everything. And we as Muslims have to take the asbab, okay? Asbab. Asbab means what? Asbab means basically you take your precautions, okay? You take your precautions, right? So when you look at precautions, let's say you follow speed signs. Let's say you, watch your back. Let's say you don't reveal your PIN code. Let's say you don't, precautions. Okay. And sometimes we lose sight of that. We think, okay, I trust in Allah, no one's gonna hurt me. I'm a good Muslim. This is talk Allah, talk Allah. No. But at the same time, on the other side, actually, we don't want to be like always like, oh my God, is anyone watching me? What's gonna happen? Are you always scared? Scared to the point where you're like paralyzed in a sense, social paralysis. You don't take any initiative in your work, in your family, anywhere, because you're always scared that, something will happen. No, you don't want to, you don't want to do that, right? So, we have to have a balance. أقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان. Right? Now, let's go on to the next section. Now, reliance inconsistent with seeking sustenance. This is with the risk. Iblis deceived many of them into the belief that reliance is inconsistent with seeking sustenance. Right? And what he means here is like that, and I think this is still till today very valid, where the Muslims, like, they're not going to seek sustenance because they think Allah will provide. Yes, Allah provides for those who are willing to have provision. And this is reflected clearly in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, لو كنتم تتوكلون على الله حق توكله لرزقكم كما يرزق الطير. If you were to really put your trust in Allah, حق توكله, in the haqq, see the word here, as he deserves or he should be, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the word haqq is used here, not the way you want to, but the real way. لَرَزَقَكُمْ, he would have given you rizq كَمَا يَرْزُقُ الطَّيْرِ, as birds are being given rizq. They leave the nest empty. This is the key here. They leave, meaning they seek the sustenance, and they return. They return how? They return full. Right? You're a Muslim today. It's like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to start a company. I don't want to start a business. I don't want to know. Allah will provide for me. This is nonsense. This is tawakkul. So there's a difference between tawakkul and tawakkul in Arabic. Tawakkul is that tawakkul with the mad is where you just sit on your back and you're like, yeah, Allah will provide. I have strong aqidah. Ya akhi, why are you struggling for this dunya, akhi? You have problems. You should put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is ridiculous, right? This is ridiculous. No. right? So look at this. Abu Abdullah ibn Salim, a man asked him, are we required to seek sustenance or to have reliance? He said reliance was the condition of the Messenger of Allah ﷺ, and seeking sustenance was from his sunnah. He only enjoys sustenance on one who was too weak for reliance. Right? So, yani, someone who cannot do what he has to do, then khalas, then he'll be helped. Right? One is too weak, one who is, no children, this and that. Right? And that's why, like, same with, like, for example, in general, women, like, that's not their main role to seek sustenance, but reliance. Yeah, it's a very important point. Reliance in the system of Allah. The men are supposed to be the providers, right? A lot of women, they start their marriage or before they even get married with insurance. No, I need to do this because what if he's going to divorce me? Of course, there's a possibility always of divorce. I'm not saying, right? There's always going to be that. I'm not going to get in deep into what happens and what's the responsibility of the ummah towards divorced women. But you find a lot of sisters when before they even get married, that no, I have to have this or this, and they spend their whole life almost, or the best of their lives, crimes, seeking a lot of things, and then delaying marriage because of fear that they might actually be divorced once they get married. But you're not even married yet. You're not even married yet, right? So there's sometimes an interesting, I didn't say, right, haram or something like that. I'm just talking about the mindset, this mindset of insurance, which is like kind of against reliance, right? Because in certain cases, as I said, in certain scenarios, right, it's not the main priority for someone to seek sustenance. It is to rely upon Allah and the system that Allah has designed. Now, so Yusuf ibn al-Hussein said, if you see a disciple who is too occupied with gaining sustenance, then know that nothing good will come out of it. And someone who's on the extreme, on the other side, right? And again, look at the way this is written and who is it written for. Right? Again, it's very clear what Islam and how it was, what were the social constructs and the situations, who was being addressed, right? It's, sadly, it cannot be compared with what we are faced today and the degeneracy of what we are faced with today. Like people today are totally different than what Ibn Al-Jawzi is addressing. Okay? Imagine if Ibn Al-Jawzi would, even though a lot of things are applicable, imagine if he were to edit this book based on what he would see today in the 21st century. How would this book look? How many chapters would it have? How many subsections would it have? Right? Now, okay, let's move down. So, just a few examples here. Abu Bakr, Uthman, Abdurrahman ibn Auf, Talha used to all sell clothes. So too were Muhammad ibn Sirin and Maymun ibn Mahran. These are examples of tradesmen, people who were trading businessmen from the great giants of the Ummah. Right? Again, they were seeking sustenance. Remember, Abu Bakr, he gives his whole wealth. Abdurrahman, he wants to go to the market. He doesn't want a hand me down. Right? Why? Because he knows how to do it. Az-Zubair, Amr and As were apparel makers. Abu Hanifa was also that, right? Abu Hanifa was what? Do you know what Abu Hanifa was? Imam Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah, was a businessman and he was into the business of, anyone know? What was he making? Anyone know? He's a great businessman. He was quite wealthy, actually. from his business. You might have today some of the Pakistani brothers who follow, of course, Imam Abu Hanifa so deeply to the point that they think he was Pakistani, but he was not, he was Persian. Right, they follow him, and they might say something like, oh, if you follow this dunya, you get into business, you might have a business, and they will criticize that you're too into dunya. Imam Abu Hanifa was a shoemaker. He was into shoes. Okay, he was, shoes, and he would pay for his students to study. He would give them stipends for them to study, subhanAllah. Right? Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas used to sharpen arrows. Like, these were their trades. And Uthman ibn Talha, radiallahu anh, used to sew clothes. And many members of the Salaf, meaning the generations after the Sahaba, they used to work and earn a living. And some were very, very wealthy. Okay, extremely wealthy. Like my favorite, probably one of my favorite, and he is a Hanafi scholar. It's probably like my role model. Two, from the Salaf and Tabi'een is Abdullah ibn Mubarak, rahimallah. Abdullah ibn Mubarak was a great businessman, yet he was a warrior and a faqih and a scholar, great warrior, great businessman. Okay, so this was he's someone that I really look up to. Now, if asked the Sufis, right, from where should I feed my family, they should respond, you have committed shirk. Likewise, if they were asked about a man who went to business, they would say he does not have the lines, right? So again, he's picking on the Sufis because if you look at the Sufis, until today, of course, we all have mistakes, right? We're all sinful. We're all not good. May Allah forgive us all. Astaghfirullah. Right? That's not the purpose of this statement, is to look down upon people. We're all sinful. But the Sufis, they deviate in like foundations. Like even till today, if you look at the Sufis, they're the ones who are leading the corruption and the deviation. And they were not always the same. They used to be different. But since that time, even we can see Imam Al-Jawzi is correcting them. We find that they are deviating in aqidah, right? And these are aqidah points, by the way, issues of tawakkul and issues of rizq. Right? This is all aqidah. People think aqidah is about just the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No, it is about quite a lot of other things. It's been reduced to attributes, right? So the Salafis, there's the Asharis and the Maturidis, but it's not just about the attributes. It's about many aspects of Aqidah, such as tawakkul and rizq and qadr and so on, right? Al-wala wal-bara, and so on. Now, let's go down. Right. So we see from the Salaf and the Sahaba that they used to order others to seek sustenance, right? Umar radiallahu anhu used to say, "Oh, poor people, raise your hands. Raise your heads. The path has become clear. Race with one another in good works and do not be a burden on the Muslims." Meaning, and we do find till today that a lot of people beg in the Muslim Ummah, especially Muslim countries. You go to certain places, like, I don't know, let's say go back 10 years ago. In Saudi Arabia, you see so many beggars in Hajj and Umrah, Allahu Akbar. Until today, people beg. Now, sometimes people get confused. They're like, should I not, should I not give? There's the hadith of the man who made the announcement every morning that today sadaqah was given to a thief and or whatever, and sadaqah was given to a prostitute, and right? And that hadith is a very famous hadith, but it shows us that intention doesn't matter. If a person gives for the sake of Allah, he gives khalasan, the giver. But begging should not be encouraged. It doesn't contradict the statements of the Prophet ﷺ or of the ulama that begging should not be encouraged. Right? So yes, you give sadaqah to a person, and Allah says that in the Quran for those who ask you, right? But that doesn't mean that as a system, begging is encouraged. Actually, it's discouraged. That's what Umar Khattab was doing here, right? Umar Khattab radiallahu anhu, saw a lad who pleased him. He would ask them he had any trade. If they replied negative, Omar would say, he has sunk in my eyes. Meaning, any like, if you see someone who he likes, the way he looks, the way he behaves, like mashallah, you know, sometimes you meet people and you're like, mashallah, this guy looks really, like he's a real man. And Omar would ask them, are you doing any business? Are you doing anything? And he would say no. Then basically his image would just shrink in his eyes. No. Ahmed ibn Hanbal was asked, what say you of a man who sits in his house or in his masjid saying, I'm not going to do anything, I'm waiting for my sustenance to reach me, right? So, like even in the masjid, right? Like some people, they just sit in the masjid a lot and they think this is the closest to Allah. They don't do anything. So Imam Ahmed said, such a man is an ignorant person. Have you not heard the words of the Prophet? Allah set my sustenance under the shadow of my spear. Allahu Akbar. You understand that? All right? Allah set my sustenance under the shade of my spear. Allahu Akbar. And there's another hadith discussing how birds leave the nest, as we said, and so on and so forth. Right? And of course, the ayah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and وآخرون يضربون في الأرض يبتغون من فضل الله, and right, وآخرون يقاتلون في سبيله, right, Surah Muzammil. No. That's why Islam is like, when you look at it, it's like not a religion, it's the way. This is the way. When you understand this part, this amazing balance that is set between the dunya and the akhirah, right? The dunya and the akhirah, the dunya and the akhirah. It's perfect. No, nothing in this world can ever actually come close to this. You know that. And this is one of the evidences of the truthness of Islam, of the correctness, that this is the truth, right? This is haqq, al-haqqul yaqeen. Sometimes, we just forget that Islam is the truth. We just kind of like, okay, it's my religion. I am Malay, I am a Muslim. They are Chinese, they are not Muslim, but whatever, Everyone's okay. Haha, we're brothers and sisters in humanity. Okay, we're brothers and sisters in humanity. No one says anything. Kulu bani Adam, we're all sons and daughters of Adam. But in reality, Islam is the truth. And we've been chosen and blessed to believe in it and to follow it. Whether we follow it good or not, may Allah forgive us. But you should feel how blessed you are to be a Muslim. No. And then you have the examples, right, where the companions of Prophet ﷺ used to cultivate land, they used to trade. Bottom line is, actually, even if you look at today's system of 9 to 5, right, most people work 9 to 5. And it's a system that is It's meant to limit you, actually. Now, you can still seek your sustenance, of course, right? You shouldn't now, okay, I'm going to quit my job because Brother Gabriel said 9 to 5 is limiting and this and that. No, but it keeps most of the people in check and does not drive economy except in the hands of a few big corporations and few people, relatively speaking, to the population of the world. Right? How many people have a business? No, most people just work a job in an office or somewhere. They work for someone, right? So this is something that is important to understand because some people have to get out of this race, this box, and seek their sustenance. Some people make it, some people will not. Some people return to their jobs. I always say there has to be like a buffer zone or time where you are moving from being, dependent upon someone, a job, a 9 to 5 office job, to independency. But it has to be done gradually. And if it doesn't work, then you just slowly fall back into your 9 to 5. So you don't quit right away. It's like you're in a buffer zone, you're in a limbo. You're testing to see if your business or anything else can do well. And if not, then bismillah, not everyone's going to succeed. But I believe people should try, should push the limits, should think beyond the boundaries that society has put on them. You know what I mean? Now, okay, let's go down, please. Right. So, again, just different examples of, and the Quran is full of them, and the Sunnah is full of them. It's funny that this is still something that the Muslims have not been able to figure this dichotomy of can you be or dilemma, can you be a good Muslim and wealthy at the same time, or involved in dunya, trade, and all that? Or can you be a successful businessman and a good Muslim at the same time? Right? This is the dilemma of the modern day Muslim. The ones who are really practicing, that you see in the masjid sometimes, they spend a lot of time. They are not that successful in a business or something, education or anything like that. And the ones that usually see them successful in dunya, education, business, whatnot, drive a nice car, it will not be the one who's like really good in the masjid or deen, right? So it's like, even if you look at like a person who drives like a nice Mercedes or a very nice fancy car or, a Toyota or something like that, just Alphard or whatever it's called, nice big car. You find that, okay, they're not really spending time in the masjid, they're not really in the salah. And you find the ones who are really in the masjid, they driving like a motorcycle, Nothing wrong with motorcycle. I love motorcycle, but you know what I mean, right? Like a little beaten down motorcycle, right? Making, you know, maximum 1,500 ringgits a month. And the problem is that they're okay with that. They're not trying anything more, right? Just, living on, one meal a day, right? Going to the mamak just once, paying 5 ringgits and that's it. I'm not trying to put down anyone in this situation. Just what's surprising is that you meet a lot of people and they're like, they're just not looking to not that they're not looking to do better, is that they think that if they are going to do better or look to do better, that they're not going to be good Muslims. That's what I want to get at. You know what I mean? They think that if they are going to strive a little bit better or to have better, that they are going to now be like bad Muslims or something like that, right? Now, let's go down. All right. Sorry, just stop there. Up again a little bit. Right. So some people are like, right, in this, they're confronted with two evil alternatives. Either they ruin their families involving the violation of duties, or define profession of reliance. Right? So it's like, no, we have to have a balance. You have to take care of family. You have to put your trust in Allah. You have to be a good Muslim. It's a duty upon a man. Always. It's always. And again, as I said, like, see here, men are addressed here, right, as the imam of the household in terms of, how they have to behave and that they're responsible for their family's sustenance. Okay? And look what he says here. The true man is one who does not throw away the jewel with which Allah has entrusted him in order to indulge in idleness or to win a title of honor among the ignorant. It's a very, very beautiful statement. The true man, we keep talking about what's a real man, is one who does not throw away the jewel with which Allah has entrusted him in order to indulge in idleness, right? Allah has given you. What is his jewel? Right? Well, his jewel is his abilities, his possibilities, his chances that Allah gives him. Right? To some people, يعني Allah يبسط رزقه لمن يشاء ويقدر. Yani Allah will hold it from some people, he'll decree it for others. It depends. But even the person who Allah has held the rizq away from, and for whatever reason, He subhanahu wa ta'ala knows, even he gets sustenance, doesn't he? Right? Even he provided with so much. No. Okay. And again, mashallah, very developed, right? So another section. What's the argument now of the Sufis of not gaining sustenance, right? So one of the weak arguments is our sustenance will reach us one way or another, right? And sometimes these statements are like, wow, these people are really amazing, right? Look how their reliance upon Allah is so amazing, right? Wow, no matter what happens, Allah will give me, right? It's like, it sounds nice, but it's not, it's actually against the Sunnah. It sounds nice, right? It sounds nice, but it's against the Sunnah, right? So this is not something that a person has to, um, follow. It sounds nice, but it's not nice. A lot of things sound nice that these so-called spiritual people say, right? And they'll make you feel bad sometimes. Like, oh my God, am I really involved in dunya that much? And blah, 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 and all that, right? They'll say, yes, brother, you shouldn't be into dunya so much and blah, blah, blah. But you feel bad. You feel like, I'm not a good Muslim. But then again, knowledge has to ground you back. Right? So you remember the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, and it grounds you back to reality. Not about emotions, guys. Not about feelings. It's about what is the practical truth of our deen. That's what matters. Practical truth of our deen. It's not about my feelings, my emotions. Oh yeah, he's right. Maybe I shouldn't feel like this. I shouldn't be chasing dunya. So you're not chasing dunya. You're just earning your sustenance. Earning what? Earning your sustenance. Yeah. It's very important for you to understand that. Okay. Very important. Now, all right, let's go down. Oh yeah, and one thing here that they mentioned, the issue of halal and haram. Right? A lot of people. I'll give you an example of today's world. It's just an example. Don't take it as a fatwa from me. right? And I don't give fatwa. I'm not qualified to give fatwa. I'll never give fatwa. But just what from the aqwal of the muasirin, of the scholars of our time right now, there is confusion with regards to, for example, cryptocurrency, right? Which is a huge business these days. But a lot of people will always be on the side of like, okay, this is haram, this is halal. Some people say it's halal, some people say it's haram. Some people say no, it's not good. It's right is ambiguous. And al halal bayin wal haram bayin. Halal is clear, haram is clear, right? So I'm just giving an example of what we are dealing with in the 21st century today. So there's been a lot of fatwas about, cryptocurrency, for example, it's haram, and very few have said it's halal and blah, and that's not, right? But um, you always have to seek for what is lawful, right? We have to. Lawful is very important. Um, but you got to be careful because in general, right, things in muamalat are by default halal. Right? So the care of not falling in either, see, because you have here in this hadith two negatives. One of them is the haram, obviously clear. Wal haram mubayyin. And in between there's ambiguity, and it's better to stay away, right? As the Prophet said. But a lot of people are scared, or they think there's ambiguity, and they're scared of the haram, of course. So therefore, they will not go into the halal. They'll not do their homework. They're not going to. So this fear and caution is caution, as we said, equal to not seeking risk is not. You see what a sensitive matter to discuss. But you would think that from this hadith that caution is better to just khalas and just leave it. No, but what about this? No, leave it. What about that? No, leave it. Because it's like people are actually just lazy to do the research and get involved a bit into understanding things. And because they're in a good way, they're afraid to fall into sin. Therefore, they will never be able to also develop. So there's a balance, there's a fine line that we have to draw when it comes to this. It's really, really, difficult. But the Muslim has to always go back to knowledge and to revert to the Sunnah and understanding the principles. Once that is done, then then tawakkal Allah. Okay, no, no. Okay, keep going. There's just a story that he was given about fishing that we don't need to get into. Go down. Okay, devil's deception in the Sufis in matters of refraining from medical treatment. Okay, فإذا مرضت فهو يشفين. When I get sick, he is the one who cures me. Right? So he would say, hey, Allah will cure you. You don't have to go to the doctor. It's a shirk to believe that the doctor will heal you or the medicine will heal you. Right? The scholars agree that seeking medical treatment is lawful. This is muttafaqun alayh. Some scholars are opinion that it's better to avoid medication. But even till today, like there's many people that even who are saying that it's better to avoid medication because it has, sometimes side effects or different things that it can hurt you with. So it's not necessarily just because of you relying upon medicine. No, the Prophet ﷺ was using medication. Eh? Medication does not contradict tawakkul. And Allah tells in the Quran about honey. That there's shifa in it. It is a healing. It's a medicine. And Allah, revealed, for example, we studied before the disease and the cure. Right? So Allah revealed the disease, so revealed the cure as well. And there's medicine all around us in the world. But indeed, today there is an extreme reliance upon medicine that is just insane, right? It's just insane on how much people rely upon medicine all the time, right? All the time. You know what I mean? So, right? So it's like, okay, I have a pain. Oh, medicine. I'm not feeling well. I have anxiety. Oh, medicine. You know? So yeah, it's no. Um, yeah, you are. Oh, I have some anxiety, doctor. Oh, they don't even like inspect you or anything. Just like right away. Okay, diazepam, boom. Prozac, boom. Right away, boom. Right, just to really like put you down like a cattle. It's like people are big pharma is so huge, making so much money out of the people's reliance upon medicine today. It's a huge exchange. And you know what I'm talking about. Like, yeah, I mean, they're selling Panadol and just like in 7-Elevens, you know? Like it's the fasting and you take it at the checkout desk, right? And all these like smallest headaches, smallest little thing, boom, pop 2 pills. Smallest thing, boom, pop some pills, right? You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. So now that's what the Prophet did orders to use medication. He used medication. We have a tib al-nabawi, which is the medicine of the Prophet. There's even books on that, right? You guys know what I mean? Yeah. So um, we have to have a balance, right? So now if you get sick, if you're not take medicine, or you take medicine. If you get sick, you take medicine, okay? You have to. But when first thing, first little thing, you just right away, oh my God. No. We see the Prophet ﷺ, take medicine, but not in any small thing. And I really believe in even parents like giving it to their kids today. You know what I mean? People, parents, giving medicine, you know, for whatever. Mommy, my this, and I'm not feeling. Oh, I'm tired. Okay, take some medicine. Mommy, I don't. Okay, take some medicine. At schools, as soon as you go, you know what I mean. As soon as you like whatever you're at school and you don't feel good, okay, send them to the nurse. Give them some medicine. Oh, the child is a little bit hyper, right? Child is a little bit hyper, right? No, that's it. The child is a little bit hyper. Oh, give them, medicine to calm them down. ADHD, right away. It's like tranquilizers, you know, they get tranquilized. No. And how come? SubhanAllah, yani, let the kids live, yani, let people feel a little bit of pain. Let people have a little bit of experience of this. This. Even the pain itself is purification for us, right? But then there's limits, and the Prophet ﷺ is afflicted with, you know, severe fever and suffering and cannot function. Then alas, you seek medicine, no doubt, right? Now, Tabari, he uses right? These examples that we read above to show how Sufis are, and he says how really Ibn Al-Jawzi says how stupid Sufis are in believing that medication contradicts reliance. Okay? No. Okay, let's go down. Let's go down. Yeah. Now, devil's deception, the Sufis, and abandoning Friday prayers in congregation, resorting to seclusion and loneliness. SubhanAllah, right? So, the Salaf used to prefer loneliness and seclusion because they wanted to dedicate their time to seeking knowledge and worship. Go down. However, I can't see there's something blocking the view. No, because they wanted to dedicate, right, to worship. However, this does not prevent them from joining Friday prayer, congregation prayer, visiting the sick, attending funerals, yani the duties of a Muslim, right? So seclusion is good if you are seeking ibadah and, just being away from the people for some time. But it doesn't contradict like the warning of being alone and away from the Jama'ah. Actually, being alone and away from the Jama'ah is something not good. Something not good at all, right? So we have to have our time with Allah alone and, staying away. Like it's not good to always be around people and always talking and always this and always socializing. It's like you depend upon them and validation, specific validation, right? It's huge, right? You shouldn't be always depending on validation, people being around you. You feel good only when you're around people. No, sometimes you have to have this khalwa, this seclusion with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's only between you and Allah, right? So the two don't contradict, but when and what? Yani, are you going to leave Jummah? Are you going to leave, right, the congregational prayers, the Jama'ah and the masjid? No, especially for men, right? It's not permissible. Women, and you have an excuse. They don't need to. It's not fard upon them, right? And it's not fard upon women, Jummah. It's not fard upon women to pray in the masjid, right? So again, it's fine. We see concessions here for women because men and women are different. But it is a fard of men, right? You have to attend Friday. That's like no dispute among the scholars. Whether attending the 5-day prayers, all of them, is a fard or not, there's some dispute. But hey, you don't want your, to be on a difference of opinion. Like you want to do your best to try to attend it as much as possible. Now, let's stop here because I have some work that I have to get to, a meeting in 5 minutes. We will continue next time with them leaving Friday prayers as Sufis and how they've been deceived in secluding themselves, inshallah. طيب, jazakumullah khair. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of you. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.